Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Flower. Now, sometimes you ask me, where's the source of inspiration for some of these ideas of thumbnails? And you've got Sleuth there studying a single flower in some kind of botanical garden with a whole bunch of experiments clearly happening. Got flasks of weird colors, things that are covered, test tubes, and it just feels all a little bit out of place. And of course, the magnifying glass. If you've ever watched, so a couple of shows actually, there is Holmes, sort of the British version, and then there's Elementary, the American version. And they both portray the detective in a very similar manner, where the way to enhance his skill set and knowledge, etc., is by running tons of experiments, trying to study things, and using that as part of their clues when trying to essentially solve a particular crime, for example. So that's what Sleuth is doing here. Really studying that flower for some reason. I don't know how that's helpful, but he knows it, I don't, doesn't matter. Shall we take a look at today's puzzle? Let's do that and the rule sets. So we've got Flower by Isayo 4002. The actual puzzle, when you load it up, doesn't have the constructor names. I had to sort of dig it out. Fingers crossed I'm not far off with the pronunciation and the name, actually. You can very clearly see the flower that's in the middle, or at least, the petals that are belonging to a flower in the middle. There's nothing there to actually bring it all together. Rules-wise, purple and green, yeah, flower. Yeah, that's quite common, I would say. All right, rules-wise, normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, every 3x3 box. Nothing unusual here. Then we have thermometers. Digits increase along the grey thermos starting at the bulb. Okay, so these are the grey thermos. I'm sure you can sort of figure that out. These are the bulb ends. So if this cell is a 2, essentially, as you go away from the bulb end, the digits have to strictly increase. That could be 3, I could skip a digit and have a 5, I could have a 6. What I cannot do is go back down to a 4, for example. That's broken the thermometer. What else do we have? Digits along a pink renban line are a sequence of consecutive digits in any order. So if that's a 2, for example, that could be 1 or 3, so that these two cells are consecutive, and of course, no repeats. They're in the same box after all. Then we have digits along the green German whisper line differ by at least 5. If that was a 2, this cell here would have to be 7, 8, or 9 to be 5 or more away from it. What else do we have? There's no shortage of rules today. Digits in cages do not repeat and sum to the given total. So where is a good example? Up here. If this cell was a 2, this would have to be a 5 to essentially make sure that these two cells add up to 7. These 3 cells are 11, 23, etc. Digits separated by an X sum up to 10. I can only see just the 1 in here. That cell was a 3. This would have to be a 7 to make sure that these two cells add up to 10. Digits separated by a V sum up to 5. So if this cell was a 1, this would have to be a 4 to make sure that these two cells add up to 5. Like I said, no shortage of rules. So if you want to inspect this flower alongside Sleuth, you're very welcome to do so with the link in the description down below. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So this cage is forced. 3 cells that add up to 23 can only be 6, 8, or 9. Is that even possible to be a 6? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Short answer is, yeah, it's possible. I could do 1 and 2, and then that's 3, that would be 8. And then I've had plenty of space to actually get to as little as 6. Over here, again, I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again, room for 6. Okay. This is at least 1, 2, this is at least a 3. Not a lot of pressure on the 7. I mean, it's 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's still too many options. If it is a 3-4 pair, that would have to be 1, that would have to be 2. This wouldn't be 3 or 4, this would have to be, let's say, 5, which it wouldn't actually work. This would have to be 6. The reason it wouldn't be a 5 is essentially these two cells are up to 6, and then to get to 11, I would have to do a second 5. So I'd have to put something bigger. Notice that 1, 2, and 3 and 4 are gone. That would essentially be a 7, and that would have to be a 4. Now 6, 7, 8 doesn't work. It's a very strange find. So 1, 6 would make this, yeah, 7, and then obviously I've run out of digits I can place in row 5 because 6, 8, and 9 are taken. I'll use it. It's not the most intuitive, but it does mean that this can't be 3, and therefore that can't be 4. Fairly sure it also means the reverse. If that's 4, that would be 3, and then we're in trouble with the 1 and 2 in here, and then the repeater. So that's not 4, that's not 3. I'm going to leave it at that. It does mean that's not a 2, because of course that would be a 1, and then it would break this cell. So this is at least a 3 or higher. I mean, there's not a lot to go on, so I'm kind of committed, I guess. Maybe the thermometer. Sorry, I'm just remembering that this is 6, 8, 9. So one of them could be a 7, but the other side has to be a 5. 4, 4, 3, 2. So one of these thermometers is actually quite small. Because, 6, 7, 8, 9, so it's a maximum of 5. This is a 1-star difficulty rating, and I don't know if I'm making this, again, way harder than it should be. An 8 cage and 3 cells has to have a 1, so one of these two cells is a 1. So it's either 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4. What's the implication for both? Not entirely sure, if I'm honest. I mean, so that's clearly the smaller digit. So if that's 1, that could be anything from 2, 3, 4, or 5. If that's not the 1, that's the 1. And therefore, this would have to be the 3, and then this would be the 4, or this is the 2, and this would be the 5. 5 feels like it's not going to work. But remember, that's if that's the 1. It can obviously be a 1 in here. But this being a 5, 6, 7 still works. Okay, so that can of course be the 1, and then that could be basically anything. What's wrong with that being a 2? Absolutely could be 1, 2, and then 5. But if that's 2, that's 5. If that's 3, that's 4. Okay. Tons of options still. Right, this V hopefully is a bit more helpful for me. So essentially, one of these is gone. It's either 1, 4 or the 2, 3. Now the question is, what does it do to this thermometer depending on what's gone here? So for the sake of convenience, I'm going to assume that the 2, 3 is gone. I don't know how convenient that is. That would make a 4, a 1 in here. So one of these would be a 4 potentially, 5, 6, 7, still a ton of options. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is not even possible. 1, 2, and 3 would break this cell. So that can't be 4. That can't be 5 because on a German whisper line, that has to be a high digit. This is 6, 7, 8, or 9. This is 1, 2, 3, or 4. Can I do something similar here? Kind of. Let me just double check. No. I could do something silly such as that. And then no 2 and 3 in the 11 cage. I don't think that's a problem. We've already discussed this option previously, was it? No, 1, 4, 6. That's actually doable. That wouldn't be the 4. 4 would be somewhere in here. So yeah, this is... Oh, that's not a 9. Or is... So if this is a high digit, it would have to be a 7. And that would have to be a 2 or a 1, which is impossible, right? Can do it that way. So that's again another low digit. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And this unfortunately can be as little as 6. Can it? Yeah, 6, 5, 4, and this could be, yeah, doesn't have to be a 1. So 6, 7, 8, 9 again. 6 would be 1, 5, 4. No, it would have to be 5, 3, 2, and this would be a 1, 4. Okay. I feel like I'm missing something. This feels way harder than it needs to be for a 1-star difficulty rated puzzle. So the remaining digits, I have essentially another 2 low digits from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 7. So maybe the question I should have been asking is, can any of these be the low digit, the 4? 3, 2, 1. In that case, definitely not. It breaks this cell. What about here? That would be 4, 3, 2, 1, 5. Unfortunately, I think that's fine. So I'm not even sure I even have to have a 7 on here. If I can get away with 4 and 5, I'm guessing 5 here would actually work on this side. 5, 4, 3, 2. These two are 5s. That would be a 6. That would be a 5. That would be a 1. That would be a 6. And it's all working. And between the 2 and the 6, I have, well, not 4, but I have a not 3. So I would have 5 in here. So as you can see, I'm not creating a problem. But the only thing I can do is eliminate a 3 and lower. 3 definitely doesn't work, but 4 does. So these are from 4, 5, and 7. Which is just not enough. Right, let's just think about these thermometers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, there's a ton of pressure now in box 5 if I just paid a bit of attention. This is a minimum of 5. These are a 5, 7 pair because they're not 6, 8, or 9. That's much better, Sleuth. I don't know how I missed this all the way up until now. It's a 5, 7 pair, which does make one of them 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it can't be this one. If that's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I've broken the 5V. Right, now we're cracking. 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not 1, not 6. Not 1, 2, or 3. This is at least a 4, 5. Can't be a 6, because that would have to be a 1 on the German whisper line. But other options, because this could be as high as 8, technically. Actually, this is 4, 6. It's not 4, 6. This is 3, 7. That's forced. So what kind of pressure? And that too gave me the 1 and 6 up here. Now that can't be starting with a 1. So I'm pretty sure if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 is not an option in here. Sadly, I mean, it was never an option in here, I don't think. 2, 3, 4, 5. But 1, 2, 3, 4, this can still be a 4. We'll come back to that. Let's just have a think around what we're doing here. Okay, let me just pencil mark this one. 5, 4, can't be a 3, 2. No, can't be a 2, would have to be a 1. Yeah, so the 5, the V clue is really helpful. In that if this is 1, 4, it would have to be 1, 4 to make room for the 2, 3. So if that's kind of the run, the maximum, this is forced to be a 1. The alternative is 2, 3. That would be 4 or 5. That would be 5 or 6, and it can't be a 5. So this is always a 6. This is not a 6. Then 4, 5, 3, 4, 1, 2, and therefore 1, 2, 3, 4 in here. That means all the low digits are sorted. This has to be at least a 5. This would have to be at least a 7, and this would have to be 8 or 9. 5 in here would obviously nail the 8. So 8 or 9, that means this is 7 or 8. This is 5, 6 or 7. And I don't think this could be any bigger because, of course, of the pressure from this side of the... Yeah, so that's complete. That's complete. Okay. We haven't really done much with this. Okay, in fact, the fact that this is a 6 now, so this is 7, 8, or 9. This is a maximum of 5. This is a maximum of 4. I think that would be a bit too difficult because this would have to be a 7, then we've broken the 11 cage. So that can't be as high as a 4. I could do, presumably, nope, 3, 4 doesn't work. That would be 7, that would be another 4. And again, with the 5 and, hang on, let me do 4, 5, 3, 8, another 3, still doesn't work. Just actually wondering if 3 works at all in here. Or am I forced to put a 2? Let's think about it. So essentially, the 3, this would have to be 4 or 5. I can't put, so even if I maximize this 7, 6, that would have to be 5. This is 4 or 5. Then I'm in trouble. 3, 4, that's 7. That would have another 4. 3, 5, that's 8. That would require another 3. So that is a 2. Where does 2 now occur? In box 4. Now these cells, that's the 2. Which leaves all the options are still here, unfortunately. No 2 here. Let's think about what happens to the rest of this. If that's 3, that's 6. Okay, let's think about 3, 4, 5. Maximum of 7. This can be a 6, and therefore 5. Presumably 4 and 5 are fine. 2 and 3 would make a 5, and this would be a 6. 2 and 4 would make a 6, this would be a 5. And then 2 and 5 would make a 7, this would be a 4. Okay. We haven't really thought about the renbans. That's not a 3. Pretty sure that doesn't stop it from being 1, 3, 4. I could have 1, 4, and 3 in here, so... Not a 4 either. So I don't think this can be 1, 3, 4, otherwise this would both have to be here. So this is 1, 2, 5. The 5 is not there. The 5 has to be in here. This is a 1, 2 pair. That removes a 5 from up there. 5 is quite high in here. That's 6. That would have to be the 7. That would have to be the 6. That is not the 7. That's the 5. 4, 3. 4, 3. 2 and 3 requires a 6 in here. Okay. Progress. This is way harder than I was expecting, by the way. Way harder. How are we doing? 15 minutes. Just having a think around what's next, really. Still 6-8 or 5-9. I haven't really got anything that would eliminate anything. 3 is limited to one of these two cells, but can't place it. May as well think about this one now. It's still a ton of options, though. 6 is eliminated, though. 7 is eliminated. Technically, I could put an 8 in here with a 9. Technically. This can't be 1, 2, or 3. That's 4, 5, not 6, not 7. So it's actually quite limited in here. If that's 4, that can't be 5, and it can't be 6, and it can't be 7. Wow. That is 8. You don't really expect, 2 steps away from a 1 to become an 8, but it looks like it's forced. That's got to be a 4 minimum. Therefore, that's got to be a 5 minimum. It's not 5, it's not 6, it's not 7. Yep, 8, 9, 4 or 5. Unexpected. 6 is at least, 6 is just placed. So essentially I have another 4, 5 and a 9. Definite 9, not a 5. Interesting. Where do we go next? I've been bouncing all over the place with this particular puzzle. So the 3 is on this side, just Sudoku. And therefore 7 and 3. 1 and 8. 8 is joining the 3, so that's a 3-8 pair. And then essentially I have 1 and 7. That's not the 7, that's the 1, that's the 7. That's not a 1. I think that means that this is a 3-4 pair. Yes, it is. 8 or 9 still in here. This can't be a 6 anymore because, of the 7 on the thermometer, that's the 6. 8, 9 pair. Progress. Harder in progress, though. 3 in here means that's not 2, 3. That's 1, 4. That is 2, 3. Doesn't help me resolve that 4, 5, though. 2, no. 2 is in one of these two cells. It can be on the renban as far as I can tell, and that would be 2, that would be 3. And to be fair, it's a fairly restricted set of options now, because essentially it can't be a 9, otherwise it would break this cell. No, it can be a 9 with an 8. What am I saying? So this can still be 8, 9, not 7, not 6, not 5, not 4, not 1, not 2. So my options are literally 3, 8, and 9. If it's 3, that would have to go with a 2 because of the 1, 4. And if it's 8, technically I could do 7, but it'll be 7, 8, or 9. Did I mention I'm finding this hard? I think I did. It's not 3, it's not 4. That's going to be a 5. Could well be that I'm just not doing enough Sudoku. That would be very common for me. Let me put it that way. This is 4 or 9. It's not a 5. I guess this is 4 or 9, but it's not a 4. So how about let's do some Sudoku. Chances are things will get easier, better. 4, 9, that's 9. That's 4. Excellent. 7, 8 pair. Remove the 7, 8 option from here. So that couldn't be a 9 because we don't have 7 or 8 available. That's not a 9 either. That's a 2, that's a 3. And then this digit is just known. It's a 5, I'm going to say. 3 doesn't help resolve anything here. But we're getting somewhere. These cells now, there is another 8, 9, a 1, and a 2. 2 can only be in here, not there, not there. 2 can't be consecutive with the 3, that's a 1. Remember, one of these is 8, 9, the other one is a 1. That's the 1. This is 8 or 9. It's not a 9, that's 8. That's 9, that's 8. Yeah, I imagine I'm going to read the comments a bit later on, and essentially the statement's going to be something along the lines of, you missed a ton of Sudoku that made it way harder for yourself. That would be not unusual. That's the place for a 5. 6 is also now forced. This is 7, 8. Sorry, 7, 9. That's not the 9. That's the 9. That's the 7. Pretty sure that means with this a 9, that this can't be 5, 9 anymore, and that 5 can't be 5, 9 anymore. That is 6, 8. That's 6. That's 8. This has to be, so what am I left with? 3, 4 pair in here. That 2 gave me a 1, a 2. These are 7 and something. 7 and 9. Gives me 8. Gives me 3. Gives me 4. Gives me 3. Gives me 4. Gives me 1. Gives me 4. 8 in here gave me 7 and 6. Hasn't solved these, but that 5 gave me that 4. The 8 has given me the 3 and 8. Right, it's all falling into place. The 8, the 7, not the 7. Not resolved yet, but we're basically kind of towards the end of this now. So we need 8 and 9 in here. Not resolved. We just know what this is. And it is 5. That's another 8, 9. It's not an 8. That's 9. That's 8. That's 9. That's 8. In here I need a 9, which can only be there. I need a 7, which can only be here. We're very much at the finishing line now. 1 and 5, I'm going to say. That's the 5, that's the 1. 1 can only go in here. 2 can only go there. 3 can only go here. And if I've not made any mistakes, 4 for the finish. So, beautiful puzzle. So, definitely fantastic puzzle, Iseo. I think I just needed to do more Sudoku throughout, and it would have been a much smoother solve. Once I started doing it, in a Sudoku puzzle, horror shock, everything flowed a lot smoother. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle in the video. Tough one for a Monday morning, so hopefully it didn't trip you guys up. Bye-bye for now.